another day, another problem. And today we are given four arrays or list of integers, and we need to find a tuple I, j, k, l such that the summation of those respective in their respective array should be equal to 0. What does this mean? We need to find some variable I indexes. These are all indexes. So some index I, j, k and l such that a of I plus b of j plus c of k plus d of l is equal to 0, where a, b, c, d are integer arrays given to us. So we need to find how many we just need to return the count of such tuples and how many of them exist. So it is basically the first question, the first problem of this type can be said as sum of pair of two arrays. Sum of pair, like we are given a specific target k and we need to find if there exist two element in a single array such that summation of them is equal to k. If we move ahead, we can say let's add 4 element and the sum should be equal to k. Now if we move a bit more, what we can do is we can use two elements but make two different lists. So we have to add two elements of two different lists and check if the summation is equal to k or not. Now we have combined all those problems. What we are given here is 4 different arrays, and we need to find a triplet such that this size is 4 and summation is 0. It's not a k in this variable in this question, but it's a k, so it's good. The basic approach that comes to our mind, the brute force approach, is what came to my mind first, and since the constraint weren't that good, I thought maybe I could get away with this. But the constraint here are a big issue because my array list ran out of size for that. So what my first approach was, make 4 nested loops, and for each I, j, k and l, check for all the possible solution, and if it is equal to 0, count plus plus at the end, return the count. Maybe that would work because I don't need to take an array list now. I need to just take a count. I'll first try to code my brute force approach, and if it does not work, I'll move on to something different or something better. I'll start from 0 I less than a dot length, and the length of all the numbers are all the arrays given in this are equal to each other, so there is no issue with that. Now I need to make 4 nested loops. I'll just copy paste and one more here, maybe a bit for the indentation there. 1 2 3. Okay, so I have taken an int count. I need to just check if a of I plus b of, I'll change the values in the loops in a minute, and c of I, j, k plus d of l equals to 0. If this is true, count plus plus. At the end, what we want to do here is we want to return the value of that count. Now here I needs to be changed to j, 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 k, 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 and this would be I, j, k, l, 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 and again l. Now let's just, I hope everything is fine from I to length, and I hope I don't need to sort this array first for it to work. Let's just submit this code and try to see if it works, or does it gives me a time limit exceeded error. Yeah, see, time limit exceeded. So it takes a lot of time, like n raised to the power 4, because there are 2 nested arrays, 2 nested loops. It's huge. What we can do instead of this is like remove 2 loops. That's the max we can do, And what we can do is create two maps. I'll write the code as well as explain you what's happening here. I am creating two maps of integer comma integer, so its key would be integer as well as its value would be integer. I'll just name it a map equals to new hash map. Now let's call it map1. Okay, let's call it first instead of a map. That would be better because we need two maps, and I'll tell you why we need two maps. Let's copy, paste, and call this a second. Now what we are going to do in this loop is we'll take two arrays at a time. We'll add two elements like a with the first 0th element of a with 0 1 2 3 4 5th 6th or whatever the length of the array is, that element of b, and we'll store its value in a map. Let's do this. Let's make it a int variable, call it well. Let's add I and j of b. Done. Now what we want to do is everything is fine. Okay, now in the first map put well, and the value of this should either be 0 if this is the first time we are encountering. So if value is 3 here, then what we are looking for in the next two arrays is an I and j such that the summation of them becomes -3, so the whole summation becomes 0. So what we'll do here is we'll add first dot get or default. What this does is if the value exists for if value in this map exists for well, it will return a well, otherwise it will return a 0, and we need to increment it by 1. Why we are doing this is because if another value, let's say I and j makes the sum 3 and another I and j also makes the sum 3, then we need to increment the value of 3. So what we are doing is in this map we are storing for all the numbers, all the summations, and that is the key, and the value of that key is how many times has the summation occurred in that array. Again, we need to do the same for the second the last two arrays. I'll be quick, and let's call it a second, and also this should also be a second. Now what we want to do is fine. I hope I'm spelling default correct. I think there's some mistake here. Yeah, there was a lot of mistake, like this is the real spelling of default. Yeah, get or default. Okay, now what we want to do is finally we want to iterate for int key, which should be in first dot key set, and the condition is that if in second a key exists, like contains key, I think it should be capital, yeah, contains key, which key, like 0 minus key. So our value is key and we need the negative of this key. If such a key exists here, what we want to do is we want the count to be plus equals to the summation of the values there. So at first let's say there are one key such like this, and in second array, second map, there are like 4 keys with negative summations. So we can multiply those value, like minus key, 0 minus key or minus key is the same thing. We can write this also. Now we have done this, we have incremented this. Let's see if it works or not for a small example. Okay, there is a missing semicolon there, and let's check it. cannot find the symbol. Okay. See, we are putting first dot get or default. I hope that's the correct way of like using this get or default. Yeah, this is the correct way of using get or default. Get, oh, D is capital, I'm so sorry. The T should be capital here. Done. Now let's see. Done. And I'll be submitting the code, and I hope it runs fine without any errors. It's submitted. So what this does is this loop takes n square time complexity, as well as this takes n square time complexity, and this takes the complexity of the total keys that are stored. So it's overall n square, it can't be more than n square. This was the optimized or the solution for this key, because the first solution for this problem wasn't being accepted, so this is the only solution. However, we can improve this solution further, but this is fine for now. Thank you guys.